What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys had a fantastic day today, and today we have the GeminiJets December 2022 releases for you guys. I really hope you guys are excited for today's video, as I am very excited to see what GeminiJets has going for the month of December 2022. Really expecting a good release here, as man, I think we are due for one, and I am super excited for it, and I hope you guys are as well. They have just got released here on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, and I am super excited for these, so I hope you guys are as well. And here's the big moment, everybody. I've heard a lot of hype surrounding this release. I'm really hoping it's not a letdown, because this previous release right here from November was average at best. So hopeful for a really good release. I've been waiting for it all day. I'm very excited for it, and let's just keep strolling down and see what we have going for the month of December 2022. Also, I'm looking over to the side to make sure my computer doesn't lag out again, because I know that's a really crappy viewing experience. So let's get started. So it is just December, no January to go along with it, so very excited about that. And here we go, a moment of truth. Let's see what we got going. No further delays, let's do it. Air Canada A220-300 Charlie Golf Juliet X-Ray Echo. That's a great way to start this release. Much needed re-release. While the first release is kind of findable, this will be a very helpful re-release. GeminiJets definitely doing several models that they've done in the past over the last several months, and here's another iteration, but I will say that they are popular, so I can't complain with it too much. It's a very good release. I'm sure that'll be a very popular one for our Canadian collectors and anybody else looking for Air Canada A220-300. Nice start. Let's see what we got going next. McCauley 757-200 November 818 November Hotel. Very interesting release. Definitely another oddball for sure at the very least, but I'm glad to see another aircraft getting done here. If I can get our picture to load, and here it is. It does have winglets, so that's nice to see. This is a really cool aircraft, and I'm sure some people are going to appreciate it. Of course, they did the 767 in March of 2021, so I'm glad to see another McCauley done with the 757. So that should be a pretty good release. I'm sure some people are really going to be excited for that. So definitely a kind of an oddball, I would say, but definitely an exciting release to say the least. Let's get something good here. Avelo 737-800 November 801 X-Ray Tango. Goodness. Finally with splits too. Nice release. That's going to be a hot seller. So for the first time in quite some time, GeminiJets beats NG models to a very popular aircraft, and I'm not sure what NG's reluctance was to doing this aircraft, but this is a very exciting release. I will most certainly be getting this. It's not the best mode in the world, but I definitely can live with it, and I think it's a pretty good one, so we'll definitely be able to work with that. Fantastic release right there, and that is a great way to start this release for us US collectors really looking for something popular. That'll be a fantastic aircraft, and I'm really excited to see that released as Avelo continues to grow their route network. Fantastic release, and this is the start to what I feel like is going to be even better than this. I'm excited to see what we have going next. Let's see what's next. Delta A220-300 November 305 Delta uniform. My eyes lit up because I thought maybe that was going to be the Ember 175, but an A23, pretty similar to the principle of the A220 for Air Canada. This is another re-release, but I know it's a very popular aircraft. There's multiple people that are looking for another one. I'll consider it, but probably not once again like the 220-100 from November. This is still a really good release though, and I'll definitely take it. So I'm glad to get to see this right here, and this will be a fantastic release for GeminiJets right here. So definitely a pretty interesting release so far. Avelo is a huge highlight. Really excited to see what we got going next. Oh, DHL 777. I thought we were getting a Spirit maybe. No, this is a DHL 777 freighter. November 774 Charlie Kilo with the interactive configuration. Good release right here. I think this will be a really nice one. All DHL livery, so this is a really cool looking aircraft. In the interactive mode, I thought turned out really well in the FedEx and the Etihad cargo. So nice release right here, and this is fantastic. Really nice job right here to say the least. Very pleased with that. Emirates A380-800 Alpha 6 Echo Victor Charlie, and it's another normal livery, really. Pretty interesting there. Emirates is okay. You guys know the situation with GeminiJets and Emirates at this point. Kind of self-explanatory, but nevertheless looking very nice. And crap, I think my microphone bill is about to come out right there. My bill is just getting bent, but nevertheless, let's see if I can get this picture load. There's not too much to see anyways. Yeah, another normal Emirates A380. It kind of interests me how they chose not to do any normals for a long time, then they do two within 6 months. So interesting tourist light there by GeminiJets, but hey, we will take it, and it's most certainly nice to get to see another Emirates A380 this month. Flybe -8 Q400 right here. This is going to be Gulf Echo Charlie Oscar Echo right here, $46.95. Nice plain livery. I really like the new livery on this. Very glad to get to see this right here, and I think this is a really nice release. So good job there by Gemini for getting the variety going here. Quite a bit of variety to say the least in this release, and I think it's looking fantastic so far to say the least. So nice job right there to say the least. In AITA A319 Echo India India Mike November, no surprise from the November release. Nice to get to see it in 400 though, and hopefully it'll turn out as a nice model. So I think this one's going to be looking really good. I'd like to get the picture to load, but let's see here. Not really wanting to load. Come on, patiently waiting. Come on. You guys know what it looks like from the last one though, I'm sure. It's just an all blue A319. There we go. Looks really nice, and I'm excited to see that one. So that one should turn out pretty well. Please give us like a United or something good here. We're getting close to the end. A Northwest Orient Lockheed L188 Electra, November 128 Uniform Sierra. Another fan. Gemini just on the tear with Electras. Here's another prime example of it. Glad to get to see another one of these. I think that they're really cool aircraft, and they almost certainly are on the tear. I do not know if I'll be getting this aircraft yet, possibly, but probably not. It's still a really cool aircraft though, and I'm glad to get to see it released right here. So that's a really good one right there, and I'm very glad to get to see that for the retro collectors. I think that's going to be a very popular aircraft. So really good right there. That's an awesome release. In a, okay, this is a Papa Day, Boeing 737-800, was not expecting this one right here. It's Victor Papa Bravo Quebec Golf. Very nice aircraft right there. Sorry about the taskbar. There's the livery, very unique one. This must be a newer carrier over there in, I'm forgetting where Victor Papa is off the top of my head, but this is a really cool aircraft, and I'm glad to get to see it there. So very interesting release, but very diverse to say the least right there. And that is it for the 1-400. So if I have to be honest, I'm just a little bit disappointed. I mean, it's not the end of the world by any means, but just plenty of variety and definitely something for everybody. But it reminds me quite a bit of what we got right here with the 1-400s from last month, just variety, but at least there's a little bit more of it in terms of quantity. The Avella is a fantastic release. The other aircraft are really helpful, but they're not necessarily astonishing by any means. Definitely not, I mean, it's all right. It's all right. It's the average. It's comparable to the October set. I'm still not very impressed though, and it's definitely a little bit unfortunate if I have to be honest. So not the end of the world, but Gemini, I think you could have done a little bit better than that for Christmas. So kind of going to give you a thumbs down there considering the holiday season, but it's still not bad. At least the Avella's here, and I'm very thankful for it no matter what, even though, like I said though, I feel like their Christmas releases typically are the best, and this one most certainly was average at best. So not bad though. Glad to have it. Very thankful for it at the very least. So nice job right there. We do have some GeminiJets Max. Maybe this can add on to it. Let's see what we have going from here. We have a Republic of Korea Navy P-8 Poseidon. Very interesting aircraft. 230921. Nice to see another Poseidon done. This is a very cool one with various emblems and everything. I think this is a really cool one. It should sell pretty well. So glad to see that. And that's a nice way to round out the 400 scale releases. Really nice job right there. And those look fantastic. Good job. That'll take us into the 1-200 set, and hopefully we'll find something good here. So let's see what we got going in Gemini 1-200 land. We're going to start with the American Airlines A320 from the previous release. No surprise here. Glad to get to see it though, and it's nice and comparable to the 400 scale. Definitely an interesting rendering of the picture here with the color and everything and the titles, but no complaints there. Hopefully they do good on the model. Glad to get to see that compared up to 1-200. No surprise with the Delta A220-100 either, so glad to get to see that up to 1-200 scale. I'm glad it's not the other way around all the time, because if we just knew every 1-400 it would suck, but you guys probably know what it looks like, so there we go. Nice to get to see it, and hopefully the mold turns out good on that one. Hopefully it will, so we'll have to see. A Delta 767-300ER. This is a good one right here. November 1201 Papa. Very nice. Glad to get to see a Delta 767. I think this aircraft actually is kind of hard to find if I'm not mistaken in the 1-200 scale. So glad to get to see this release right here. I wish I could get you guys the rendering going. The 767s and 1-200 seem really cool. And this is another great example. Really excited for this aircraft, and hopefully it turns out really good 1-200. So great release right there. Emirates Boeing 777-9X, very interesting. Alpha 6 Echo Zulu Alpha. Nice to get to see that right here. Trying to get the picture to load, but we are unsuccessful thus far. Let's try again. Still unsuccessful. Spinning. And you guys might know what it looks like. I hope so, but unfortunately the website's being about, you know, as dated as it looks right now, unfortunately, but it's pretty much an Emirates 777. There we go, with some difference to the wings. Looks nice, and I'm sure that'll be a hot seller right there. A JASDF, a Boeing KC-46A Pegasus. I really wanted to get some of these, but this one's for Japan, so nice to get to see it. 143611. Nice aircraft right here. It looks really nice, and that'll be a really nice one if you're looking to get the 1-400 Poseidon in this one. This is a really good option for that region, so glad to get to see that right there. It's a nice Pegasus. Love Pegasuses. And the Mesa House CRJ-900 makes it up to 1-200 as well. No surprise there. A couple months behind, but glad to get to see it right there, and hopefully it looks good. Glad to get to see it, and that is $82.95 MSRP, along with these other ones having their various prices. National Electric also makes it up to 1-200. Once again, not too many surprises here, but I'm very glad to get to see it. Hopefully it'll turn out as a great model, and I'm excited to get to see it. It should be a really good one. And the Republic of Korea Navy P8 Poseidon's also making it up to 1-200 this month. Really glad to get to see that right there. It's a really cool release, and I think it's a fantastic model, so very glad to get to see that right there. We also have a KC-46 Pegasus for New Hampshire. Glad to get to see that right there. Really excited for this. I think this, oh, it has the tail in it too. Nice. This is a really cool Pegasus. I really want to get one of these at some point. I would prefer a 400, but at this point a 200 might have to work. So definitely considering this for sure. It's a really cool aircraft, and I think it looks fantastic. So very glad to get to see that right there. It's awesome. And we have a Virgin Australia Fokker F100, very unique release. Victor Hotel, Foxtrot, November, Juliet, nice. This is a really cool looking aircraft. I think it looks really nice, very unique, and glad to get to see more Fokker 100, especially in modern day land. This is a really cool one. I think this one turned out quite nice, so glad to get to see that for all our Australian collectors. Very nice. And with that, that'll do it for the December 2022 release for GeminiJets. Not the worst release in the world. I was trying to get my hopes up because I really thought this was going to be a really good release. And while it still is a fantastic release with some really good planes, I feel like the variety was just a little too much here in terms of, you know, especially the repeats, the Air Canada A220, the Delta A220, Emirates A380, you know, still some really good variety here though. There's definitely not kind of borderline on a mixed bag because the majority of this is US stuff, but we have some European offerings, which is very helpful for this release. The McCauley 757 is really unique, and I'm glad that they're doing that. And the Avello is most certainly the highlight for everybody, even though the mold, like I said, is not the most flashy in the world. It's pretty solid, and I think it will definitely do dividends for all of us collectors. So it's very exciting to get to see this right here, and I think it's going to turn out really good. So very hopeful for it. Outside of that, though, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's the best release I've ever seen, but I'm not going to sit here either and tell you that it's as bad as November, because I do think this is a little bit better, although I am a little bit disappointed overall. I'm still, like I said, very grateful and thankful for this release. Just keep in mind that GeminiJets in April 2020 weren't even able to make models due to the pandemic situation. So we have to be very appreciative that we're getting these models, and you know, there's obviously so much to be had with this, and even like 30 years ago, like I've talked about in the past, we wouldn't even get these models. But there is the other side to it as well, as since these guys get to make the choices on what models that they are produced, it is a little bit underwhelming to see some of these. Like for instance, the Delta 175 has been highly requested, and instead we get a second release of a Delta A220. Despite the popularity, I still feel like the ERJ would be helpful. This is also though miles better than what we were getting 2 years ago at this time, with like KLM 777 after Virgin Atlantic A350 after Heavy. We are seeing so many more regional jets and narrow bodies, and that's very exciting in my opinion. We're also seeing retro offerings on the monthly basis as well, including that Northwest Orient Lockheed L188 Electra, so that's super exciting. And also the various offerings internationally, including the DHL, the Emirates, the Flybe, and the Podada, however you say that. So glad to get to see those offerings. And along with that, the Max is also a very cool, unique, diverse plane too. 1-200 was pretty solid. These are really good planes for our collectors up in 200 TL. Great to see these two releases transpire. The Delta 767 is going to be very popular. That might be the best release of the whole set in both scales, to be quite honest. Although I think the Pegasus, the 777-9 is a very cool plane. Mesa will be very good, especially if people that want this are flying from Mesa. We also have the Electra from National, which is awesome. Along with that, we have some more military offerings with the P8 Poseidon and another Pegasus from New Hampshire with a really cool tail in it, and the Fokker 100. This is definitely not your most stellar release, but it's also not horrible. I think there's something for everybody here, and I'm sure there's going to be really good sellouts, including the Avello, most likely the Delta long term. The Air Canada, like I said, will be a very popular plane. So hopefully Gemini will at some point get out of this phase of re-releasing planes that they've already done and give it a little bit of break. Like, I'm good with re-releases like every 3 months, but when they're doing multiple aircraft, including the Delta and Air Canada in back-to-back months, it's kind of tough. But it's one of those things that and the Emirates too. The Emirates it's what it is. It's not Gemini without an Emirates being thrown in every month. The unique offerings are really nice, but I wish they would have targeted some planes that would have been very helpful for the holiday season. So it's one of those things, but there's still some good planes in here. Let me know which ones you guys are getting in the comment section. Still some really good offerings, but definitely it's kind of right. It's kind of a plateau type of moment, but it's not the end of the world. Still a good release. Definitely going to be picking up the Avello, hopefully some other aircraft. But with that, that'll do for today's release reaction. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My name is Redriveraviation. Aviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.